Hey Track Gang, what's going on in this week's episode of the Boeville in Newtown? Well, it's right over here. Stand by and we'll get into what's happening this week. Good afternoon, Track Gang. Good morning, good evening, whatever happens to be in your neck of the woods. We're going to start episode 21 off with a little bit of a mail call, and then I'm going to go over to what I've been working on. Just a little bit of, well, actually, we'll just get right into the mail call. Let's swing the camera on down here and hope that it shows that I get it on camera. There we go. Cool. All right. The other day I got an email from Dave over at DB Tech, and he told me that he had some stuff that I might be interested in. And I asked him, can you do me a favor and just send me a couple of pictures and I'll let you know, to which he did, and I turned around and said absolutely. And him and I worked out some stuff, and well, the box showed up today. So what's in this box? I kind of know what's in here, but let's take a look. We got a letter too. We got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate the letter. And what we've got are some street signs, which I will definitely need at some point. And I guess he's trying to tell me that I'm just a little nuts, which we knew that. Let's see what else we've got here. We've also got some peppered beef jerky. Nice, nice. T-Rex, gotcha. Let's see what else we've got in here. All right, we've got some other scenery stuff in here. Nice. Definitely some things that I'll be able to use eventually. Dave, you're too much. Bag of combos. This is starting to turn into one of those ones from Harrison. Or the Harrison gets, where he gets all sorts of goodies to go along with it. Fruit snacks, okay. Let's see what else we've got in here. All right. Okay, so that's the parts for the Baltimore and Ohio. I gotcha. Yeah, these. All right, what we've got here is we've got a little tea kettle locomotive, and this is actually the second B&O one that I've had my hands on. The first one I actually traded off to somebody because they wanted it, and I gotten what I kind of wanted off of it. So I traded this for a couple of DDT locomotives, and of course the DDTs are a piece of junk, but that's beside the point. All right, I gotcha. All right, so we're going to need to take a look at that and see what's up with that. Let's see what else we've got in the box. And I know one of these things I think is going to kind of drive Rodney nuts, because when I was doing work for my buddy Eric, he had one of these locomotives as well. And of course, when I saw this, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to pick this up because I'd like to have one. I think this might be the one. And it is. So what we've got is an AHMC liner painted up for the Baltimore and Ohio. And it looks to be in really good shape. I mean, that is, well, maybe, well, this side looks like somebody tried to block it out. Or it's just worn, but that's okay. That's fine. We can work with that. That's cool. That's really cool. All right, let's see what else we've got in the box. Yeah, it's one of those things when you're a fan of the B&O, and there is a bunch of stuff out there. Alright, so what we have here is a Tyco FA unit. Actually, it's an FPB, F7B. Let me try that again, FP7B. Sheesh, I'll get it out eventually. So this is a dummy, kind of like the guy that's holding it, but that's beside the point. So you've got an FP7B. Now, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago about the passenger units, and what's unique, especially with the F7s, when they've got this hatch in the back, this is actually the steam generator for the passenger service, and hopefully that's showing up on camera. So if you see this hatch with the parts on it, that's a steam unit. You notice the front has just got a blanked out hatch, so that's a B unit for an FP7. And yes, like I said, there is a difference. So you have FP7s and you've got just normal F7s. And case in point, here's an F7A, FP7A, because it does have that passenger hatch in the back here. So this is another dummy unit. Sweet. The only thing I'm going to have to figure out now is if I've got a passenger train that I can pull these with, and I think I do. Alright, let's see what we've got in this. And this is also an FP7A. I'm trying to think. Looks like these are both dummies, which is cool, because I believe I've got an FP7A sitting back there that I could put together. I could put an ABA unit together. So that was the mail call, and thank you again, Dave. I do appreciate that. We're going to have to catch up sometime, my friend. Actually, I'm going to stop here for a minute. I'm going to swing back and see if I've got an FP7 Baltimore High unit back there. Hold on a minute. And as it would be, there you go. That is an FP7A. This one here happens to be an Athearn unit, but it's got that, of course, the light is just beating off this thing. But it's got that same Baltimore, Ohio streak on the side as, well, this one here is a little bit lighter. Yeah, these here are a little bit lighter in the blue, but I can have some fun, because I think I've got a couple of Tyco units floating around that are powered, that I can turn around and power one of those up. So we'll be back in a minute and we'll get into what I've been working on. Okay, gang. As discussed in the past, I made the front and top of the bridge removable, which makes things nice, because now the only thing that's in the way is the back, so I can test fit and so on and so forth. But the reality is, and this is the better side to show, what I did here is putting the foam down here, and I can put my foam road bed right over top, and it lines right up. So that way, you know, when I lay the tracks back down, I've got the road bed sitting there. Now, the other thing that I've worked on, which has been a real point of contention here, let me tell you, is the damn scene itself. And if you notice, the two bridges that were up top, they've been removed for the moment, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess them up too much as I was messing around with the damn scene. So what I've done is I've still got my damn, you know, the face sitting here. I cut my piece of quarter round that'll be on top here, and I've also cut the quarter round on either side. And of course, right now it's still sitting at the same angle as the dam itself. That's going to change here a little bit. I'm actually going to cut them straight, and I'm going to stand them up. And I actually went and bought some more quarter rounds so I can pretty much make a column here. So that way it's not just dead straight or up against a piece there. The other thing I have to figure out, which I'm sure I can do here, is I'm going to attach the wall to this piece of quarter round on the sides. These are actually glued to the dam right now. Because eventually what's going to happen is this wall is going to get cut to match that angle, but it's not going to be, you know, right here at the piece of quarter round. I'm actually going to bring it out a little bit, which is going to cause me some issues. I'm going to have to, I guess for lack of a better term, French in the backside, and I'll show you that here in a second. But basically, we've got that done on both ends of the dam. So now that's pretty much how it's going to sit. Now, what I was talking about Frenching or scenicking in the dam wall, as you can see here, right now, obviously, this is sticking way far out than what it should. But eventually, like I said, I'll cut that down maybe about an inch or a half inch to an inch away from the piece of quarter round, and then I'll have to figure out some way of either blending, or I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle that yet. I'll cross that when I get to it. I've got plenty of styrofoam floating around. It's not like that's going to be a problem. You know, what I might do is I might just cut this. Whoops, that was good. I might just cut this flat and just glue another piece of foam to the front of it. Not really sure. Now, I'm going to swing back around to the front here for a minute. One of the other things that's going to happen is the dam face will come down, and right below the bridge deck here, or the bridge girder on the back, the truss, I'm going to cut that and it'll be straight so that it'll match up with this piece here, and then I'm going to figure out some way of putting some sort of a brace behind here, because they don't line up 100%, which is fine. They're not supposed to. But let me go ahead and get this out of here, and I'll kind of show you what I was just looking at. And I've got a lot of styrofoam to clean up over here. Anyway, so this will come back and kind of meet up to a point, and then you'll end up with something that looks like kind of like that. Now, I realize that that's a 90-degree angle. I may end up changing that slightly. I've got some other wood sitting over here that I just bought from Home Depot. I've got another piece of quarter round that I could even stick back here. You know, to kind of line that up a little bit more so there isn't so much of a sharp edge. I've also got a piece of, I don't know what you would want to call this. It's actually an internal curve to a quarter round, and I could probably even stick that back here as well, you know, or something to like. They kind of get away from that sharp 90-degree corner. Or I may end up even taking, you know, even though this is going to be straight, I could even take this other wall here as I drop the piece of wood on the floor, and I could even angle this a little bit too. Like I said, when I get down to that part, I'll figure that out. Right now, the bigger thing is going to be getting this matched up to the wall, or to the dam, getting the dam installed, because right now it's still loose, because I wasn't happy with how it was sitting. And the reason why I bought that other piece of wood too was so that I could go ahead and stick it across the bottom. which I may end up doing. I'm going to have to file it a little bit so that it kind of lines up, but it would help to hide some of the imperfections at the bottom too. So that's kind of where that's at the moment. And as I progress, we'll do some more looking at it and working on it, and we'll go from there. The neat thing with the walls themselves, and I'm going to probably regret doing this, is the fact that I actually, as you can see, they're bigger than what they need to be, but that's a good thing, because that way I could trim it and modify it and get it to sit the way I wanted it to, for the most part. So, and literally what I did, because this is really thin styrene, I could cut it with a pair of scissors, which made things really easy when I was trying to get it lined up. And the other nice thing is when I made the left side first, and I actually mirrored the right side off of it, and then just kind of trimmed it up as need be, because the right side's a little different than the left. Of course, I do have them marked, so that way when I pull them off of here, I don't mix them up. So that's where we're at with the dam at the moment. So I'm going to, I think what I'm going to end up doing here is getting things together and getting things ready for the next step, which is, getting the dam actually in place. So once we get to that point and we get some more work done over here, we'll be back. All right, gang. I tell you, this has been fiddly. I mean, very fiddly. I had actually mentioned that to the Sidetrack Sunday crew, because I've been sending them, I had sent them some update pictures as I was messing with this. Of course, there is, I just noticed that kind of, I don't have that glued in yet. There are a couple things that I need to go back and fix. Obviously, this here is way too tall, but I wanted to show where I was at. I'm pretty close to actually being able to paint, believe it or not. I did run into one issue because of the fact that I'm mixing building materials here. I mean, I've got plastic, I've got wood, I've got I've got foam core, so I've got a different mix of things. So this left side is what it's going to look like. I've had the bridge in here. The bridge fits, no big deal. I am going to have to come back and probably put in some of the material that I've got. I forgot what the heck it's called now. It's paper mache. That's what I was looking for. I had actually put that up here before to kind of fill things in, but I'm going to have to use more of that now. Of course, the inherent nature of this whole thing, considering the fact that I'm using wood, plastic, and foam core, has lent itself to some very interesting problems. First one being, how the heck do you glue styrene to wood? Or plastic to wood? Well, I found out, and thanks to the new super modeler, and that would be Mr. Rick Bailey over at the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad, he suggested super glue, and yes, that worked very well. Now, gluing wood to wood, no big deal there. Carpenter's glue. Gluing the styrene to the foam core, good old white glue. And that has worked well so far. Now, let me show you how I got to that, or how we got to that point over there, because the right side of the dam has not been completed yet. So, obviously down here at the bottom, we've got the styrene glued to the wood. That worked out great. I'm going to eventually take this piece of half round or quarter round, do the same thing. Now, for this part, and of course I haven't actually cut any of it yet, pardon my arm if it shows up on camera, this will basically go there. I've got to cut this down, make it a little bit shorter, number one, and I've also got to make it a little bit narrower. So that goes against that piece of foam core, and then obviously this up here would be the other piece. That's what I'm going to work on tonight, is getting that taken care of, getting that all glued up, and then I think I actually, yeah, I did. Okay, I did glue the plastic or the styrene to the foam core up there. I have not done that on the left side, and there was a reason. I was still kind of messing around with it, trying to figure out which way I wanted to do it. Found out that it was actually better to put the foam core on or put the plastic on the foam core first, and then try and manipulate the rest of this. So that's what I'm going to work on tonight. The uprights here, they're glued. I put in a base. I don't know if it's going to show up. That is a interior quarter round. I think I mentioned that in the very beginning of this, that I had gone to Home Depot and bought this. So that's at the bottom of the dam. And eventually, I will be working on filling in the, I will be filling in the gap up here to level this out a little bit, because obviously I don't want to make the base of this a quarter inch of spackling compound or drywall compound or whatever you want to call it. That's just way too thick and it's going to cause problems. So I'm probably going to see if I can find something that's like an eighth of an inch, maybe the 3/8 of an inch, because this is quarter. You know, so we'll see. I'll come up with something for up here to base this out, and then raise that up a little bit so I can actually get it to the point. Because what I am going to do here is there will be water flowing, not water, but fake water flowing down the face of the dam. So we'll see what that looks like when I get there. I am nowhere near ready to put water effects or anything else like that on here. I'm more worried about getting the structure of the dam done first. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. All right, gang. I'm going to do this a little different. Basically, I have everything glued together. I still have a couple of things that I need to go back and work on before I start painting, but for the most part, and of course I just realized that one part of this has ran off on me here, and I didn't even notice it until now. Well, give me just a second here. Let me fix this little little issue over on this side, provided I can actually get it in place without destroying anything. There we go. All right, so here we go. Now, obviously, I have not put the bridge back in place yet because I'm not quite ready for it. And I just noticed that I've got things sitting up there that don't need to be up there. But for the most part, there it is. Like I said, I still do have a couple of things that I need to clean up. I've got to trim both sides up top. I need to trim this off as well back here on the back wall. I need to still put the wall back here. As you can see, it's not there. And I just noticed that this is still not sitting the way I wanted it, or the way that it's supposed to. like I said, I still have a couple of things that I need to go back and fiddle with and work on. This being one of them. I want to thank Mr. Bailey. I'm not sure if I did that yet, on his idea for using crazy glue to go ahead and glue styrene to wood. That was an afterthought. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that. Of course, most people would have been like, why didn't you just go ahead and buy a whole bunch of styrene and do it that way? Well, like I said, I used what I had on hand, and most of this wood, with the exception of the quarter round here and this inverted quarter round at the bottom, that's the only pieces that I've really bought recently. Everything else I kind of had laying around. Now, one other thing of note here, if you notice, there's no type of plastic or anything on the front of either side here. That is because eventually I'm going to have a fascia that's going to come across here, and it's actually going to cover that. So I'm not too concerned about that being open at the moment. It's going to actually, it'll cover that, and it'll also cover a little bit of a gap that I've got there. Other than that, like I said, this thing is basically pretty much ready for paint. I still do have a couple of things that I need to work on and clean up, but other than that, now you get the idea. Now you get the gist of what this is supposed to look like. I guess I could go ahead and roll in here a little bit, and I'll roll in on the good side. the side that I know is basically pretty much 100% ready. Now, there is one other thing, and you notice that there is a hole back here. That is because I put when I put the backdrop on, I realized that I didn't cut the meat down to the bottom, so this is actually attached to the back. So I've got to cut a new piece because it's actually way too short now. Because I went ahead and cut everything. I cut the foam back to get this thing to fit in here the way I wanted it to. So, like I said, there is still some fiddly things that have to be done. But really, right now, I'm waiting for the glue to really harden before I try anything else, because I did notice the other night I didn't let one of the pieces, the glue harden on it very much, and when I went back to start messing with it, it kind of came apart on me and I had to re-glue it. So I'm going to give us probably 48 hours or more and let it go ahead and harden up real good, and then we'll go from there. If I find out that I've still got issues, I've got a backup plan. But I'm not going to get into that right now because, like I said, I think this thing is, like I said, I got a couple of little minor things, but other than that, this thing is pretty much ready to be finished. So we're going to end it here. Actually, no, we're not. Give me a minute. We'll be right back. I had almost forgotten that I had another mail call. And, you know what? We're going to do this way because I'm sure you can figure out who this one's from. Mr. John number 2 over at the Schuylkill River Valley sent me a sticker. So now I have a SRV sticker that I go with the rest of my collection of stickers and cups that I've got sitting over here on the mantle. John, again, I appreciate it. But, you know, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for you wanting to go ahead and pull STS together. So, at any rate, thank the community. I know I've picked up a couple of new subscribers. I will go ahead and shout you all out at the end of the month. I'll have to remind myself of that. Namely because of the fact that this video is going on a little bit too long already, and I want to get this thing uploaded. So, you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.